Hello. I need to register before I can vote in the election here today. Would you please give me a registration form?
Yeah, you betcha. Here you go.
Thank you. Excuse me, ma'am, but this registration form requests my permanent resident address. I'm homeless. Well,
What do you mean you're homeless?
I mean that I don't have a home. I don't have a permanent resident address. I live in my car.
I don't know what to say. I didn't know we had homeless people in Minnesota.
Yes, there are around 10,000 homeless people in Minnesota. So how do I register to vote without a permanent resident address?
I'm sorry, but I have absolutely no idea. I didn't know we had homeless people in Minnesota. Let me get the elections judge. He will know what to do.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm the elections judge. How can I help you?
Hello. I need to know how I can register to vote when I am homeless and do not have a permanent resident address. Well,
I honestly have no idea. I didn't know we had homeless people in Minnesota.
yes, there are around 10,000 homeless people in Minnesota.
Really?
Yes, really.
I didn't know that.
So how do I register to vote? I'm a natural-born U.S. citizen and I have my driver's license and social security card with me.
I have absolutely no idea. I didn't know we had homeless people in Minnesota. Let me go get the county official. She will know what to do.
Thank you.
Hello, I am the county official. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is Paul B. First, may I ask you a question? Are you aware that there are homeless people in Minnesota?
Oh yes, I know that. There must be dozens of them.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those homeless people, and I need to know how to register to vote without a permanent resident address. I'm a natural-born U.S. citizen and I have my driver's license and social security card with me.
Well, okay.
Yes,
Well, where did you sleep last night?
I slept in my car in the parking lot of Cub Foods just a few blocks away from here.
Okay, great. It's pretty easy then. You just have to get someone who lives in this voting district to vouch that they saw you sleeping there last night. You need to have them come down here and sign your voter's registration form to certify that they saw you sleeping.
Ma'am, with all due respect, when you live in your car you do not draw attention to yourself. You try to stay hidden from other people so that you will not get robbed, beaten, raped, murdered, or harassed by the police.
Cub Foods is a busy place. Surely someone must have seen you sleeping there last night.
Actually, in the middle of the night when you are sleeping in your home, Cub Foods has no business at all. Besides, it is logically impossible for me to know who saw me sleeping, if I was asleep at the time.
Well,
Yes,
I have absolutely no idea what to tell you then.
ma'am, this makes no rational sense at all. Even if I knew about this in advance, that would require me to call someone who lives in the district at 3 in the morning, ask them to come down to Cub Foods and witness me sleeping, but not until after I actually fell asleep. And then they would need to come down here and sign a document certifying what they saw. That is sheer lunacy.
Well, that is the procedure created by our legislature for allowing the homeless to vote.
But it doesn't make any sense. It's downright stupid. Minnesota legislators don't have the foggiest idea what life in the real world is like for homeless people.
You should contact your legislators and let them know about this.
I have tried to contact them for 2 years. They don't care whether the homeless live or die. I even emailed all 200 Minnesota legislators individually. I received only 2 responses out of those 200 I contacted. One of them asked for my home address, so he could mail a response to my message about being homeless to my home. The other response came from Senator Julie Rosen. Her email only said, "No thank you." Not only that, but the reason I became homeless in the first place is because state officials were negligent, incompetent, and corrupt. I would like the opportunity to vote them out of office so they can never hurt anyone else ever again. Would you please tell me how I can register to vote?
Well, I already told you the procedure that the legislature put in place.
That is a stupid and pointless procedure. It does everything to ensure that homeless people cannot vote. In other states I lived in, this was called criminal racketeering. When someone creates conditions of misery for another person and then creates the only solution to end the misery, which is a non-solution. This is literally no different than Rocco visiting your small business with a baseball bat and a can of gasoline, offering to protect your business from vandalism and fire if you pay for his protection. These legislators made me homeless through their own corruption. Then that same corruption inspires them to create laws that prevent me from voting them out of office, precisely because I'm homeless. That is a criminal racket.
It does seem a bit unfair, I guess. But you know, there aren't very many homeless people in Minnesota, so nobody probably ever thought this was a big problem before.
You know what is even worse? There is a constitutional amendment on the ballot to create a so-called Citizens Committee to determine legislator pay increases. This is a clever scam that I saw all the time in California, but Minnesotans are naive about the tactic. I would like the opportunity to vote against that amendment. Otherwise, you are going to find a so-called Citizens Committee comprised of every comrade and cohort in St. Paul doubling the salaries of their friends in the legislature.
Maybe you should speak to a lawyer.
Man, I need a competent prosecutor, not an attorney. But when is the last time you saw a Minnesota legislator go to prison for corruption and criminal racketeering? When you are the one who creates the laws, you create laws that will prevent you from ever being prosecuted for those kinds of crimes. That's the very definition of racketeering. The only way to remove them from office is to vote them out of office. That is why I'd like you to tell me how I can register to vote.
I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. That's our policy.
Let me ask you a question. Look at all of these people who are voting in this room. Did anyone have to vouch that they saw those people sleeping inside their homes last night?
No.
Then how do you know that the address they put on their registration form was valid at all?
Well, we assume they are telling the truth.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying that the integrity of Minnesota elections is founded on the principle that you assume every voter is telling the truth, without ever verifying that anyone at all is telling the truth?
Well, yes, pretty much.
Ma'am, as the county elections official, have you ever heard of a thing called voter fraud?
Oh, well, that kind of thing doesn't happen in Minnesota.
Ma'am, many Minnesotans are so oblivious to reality that they don't even realize there are homeless people in Minnesota.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Everyone knows there are dozens of homeless people in Minnesota. I've never met anyone who doesn't know that.
I'm pretty sure that you have in fact met such people. In any event, if you never verify that people are telling the truth on their registration forms, how do you know that every single person who is voting here today is not an illegal alien? Not even U.S. citizens.
Well, we don't know that for certain, but I don't think that would ever happen in Minnesota.
Look, here's the problem I have. I voluntarily told you the truth that I did not have a permanent residence. I did not land my registration form even though I cherish my right to vote. You did not even ask me, yet I told you the truth up front anyway. And now I'm being told that I, the one person who you know told the truth, is the only person who is not allowed to vote, even though I have the legal right to vote. Yet it is possible that all the people who are allowed to vote here do not even have the right to vote. Do you see the problem I have with this?
I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. That's our policy.
This place is a madhouse. You people are certifiably insane. What is wrong with the people of this state?
I don't see any reason to get angry.
Lady, that's precisely the problem here. You don't see any reason to get angry.
Huh?
How can someone like you have a job and a home, while someone who is as skilled and competent as I am remains homeless and unemployed? This is insanity. So there's nothing at all I can do then. All those ancestors of ours fought and died to ensure that I would never lose my basic rights of citizenship. Yet Minnesota will not allow me to vote.
Well, we do have these 2 official complaint forms you can fill out. I have the power of notary on election day, so I can notarize them for you.
And if I complete these official complaint forms, who will conduct the investigation?
Minnesota state officials will conduct the investigation.